you know, this will help. I mean,
we talked before the show about, you know, Google's numbers never match up. So if you have AdSense and YouTube and Google Analytics,
they'll never match up.
3 different sets of numbers. And the more money is involved, the lower the numbers are.
Now, my question is, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there is a reason.
They want your money.
But I want, like, example, like, a lot of things, people on YouTube, you know, we're not this popular at all, but a big mystery is how come the ratings outrank how come the ratings on a YouTube video outrank the views? And the reason is because, like, at 300, I don't think we've ever got to 300. How embarrassing. But when you get to, like, 300, they stop it. So, and the ratings keep going because the ratings are instant. Mm-hmm. And then later they, you know, recalculate the numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But, you know, so there's an actual reason. Yeah. I want to know, you know, maybe I'll Google it, Google about Google, and want to know how come if you have analytics on every page and Google Ads on every page, the numbers do not match up. Right. And you can break it down to a story. Like, we have a show. It'll be like, and I'm just going to use low numbers to fucking show, but we have 100 people that view it on the website.
Right.
You know, view the story. Do they click on it? Who knows? But then only 50 people see the Google Analytics, you know, the impression. And then, like, 10 people have seen it on YouTube. And I'm just like, why the slope down? You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's ad blockers. But I don't think there's that many ad blockers out there. Maybe I could be wrong.
You know?
But, you know, it cuts it down like...
I totally agree with you.
Let's say 100% of our Google... And then you go on your server, and those numbers do not match your server numbers. Right. So I want to be educated to know why.
When I used to use AdSense,
you start not trusting
we do, on channel 125, we get about 7,000 people a day. Now, according to Google AdSense, we got 300 people a day. And I'm like, okay, that's a difference of 6,000 people. 6,000 plus people. That's a friggin' big difference. And, you know, my server counts accurately. It doesn't make up numbers. It doesn't, you know, I don't get it. And there are other things. You know, people think that it's all perception. People think Apple's a good guy. Apple's not a good guy. Apple blocks down everything. iPhone. You cannot watch us on the iPhone unless you watch us on...
If you have an iPhone, you know why Apple's evil.
Right.
Bottom line. You know what I'm saying? If you have an iPhone and you're like, hey, you know, it's been like 3 years now that you're finally figuring out how to send photos to each other. You can't use Skype because, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if Apple's as evil as they fucking got into bed with AT&T.
No, I think Apple's evil.
They gotta be, probably. But my whole thing is when you say Apple, you know, like if this story started off, Apple came out with something or Google came out with something, I would have smiled. I'd be like, really?
Yeah, sure.
I can't wait to see it. That would have been my first reaction. As soon as you said Microsoft, so maybe, you know, Microsoft doing stuff like this, which to me, why haven't they been doing stuff like this?
Right.
But to me, I think it helps their reputation out a lot. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure...
I agree.
When you read the headline, as soon as you saw Microsoft, you're like, oh, God, what do I have to pay for now? I mean, and I don't know, maybe, you know...
Now, there are some little glitches to this. Because, first off, I read the article, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Just like you, I saw Microsoft, and I said, oh, what the fuck? And then I read it, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And everybody's giving it good reviews. So I went to Microsoft's website. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get Avast off my system, and I'm gonna install this. Okay? Can't find it anywhere. So tomorrow, because I've been doing shows all night tonight.
So you have to pay. You have to pay to find it. I see.
So tomorrow I've got to research and find out how you actually get it, because I couldn't find it.
No, who I'd like to interview, and I know we've requested interviews before. Yesterday we interviewed anyone that's fucked a frog or something. I don't know. I don't know what the hell. But I'd like to interview someone that's more down to earth. I want to interview someone that creates and sends out viruses.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to know, like...
I'd love to talk to one.
how much you get paid.
And you
how
don't
much
have to worry because
ruin
nobody
stuff.
watches us, so, nobody'd find out who you are.
Yeah, exactly. No, because like I never
just wanna
understood that.
chat.
Like and hackers too. Like if you're a hacker, I never understood that. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
so many people do douchebag moves on the internet, but what I found out is you just got to focus on your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to attack something, and it usually doesn't help you out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As history has taught. I just focus on your own thing, make your product great, have an Apple/Google attitude, and be like, oh, how can I improve my own products? And you're good. If you want, and you check out what your competitor's doing and be like, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we should try to do that. That's not too sleazy. But to go and pay a hacker to destroy something, I don't understand that. And I'd like to interview him. Because, like, my whole thing is, you can make a full-time living off the internet. Me and
You can
Dick,
make a full-time
we're
living.
kind of close. It's a pathetic living. We're going to lose everything living. But,
well, you're going to lose everything. I already lost everything, so no big deal.
Oh, well, that's good. I guess that counts as a living. Yeah. But at the end of the day, there's people that make their livings off this stuff.
Sure.
And you just go in and hack it and attack it and ruin their lives. I don't understand how we don't, maybe execute or attack these guys more. Like if a perfect example is KocoSports has been hacked before. We'll probably be hacked again. It just happens. But, one time we were hacked by, a competing company.
Yeah.
And they got caught and everything, and nothing ever happened.
Nothing happened? Wow.
But like if it was a storefront, they got it down to like who did it, the owner of the site. They got it down to everything. So they did their jobs, and they're like, that guy over there did it. We're not going to do anything, but it's nice to know who hacked. You know what I'm saying?
So you couldn't have pressed charges yourself?
Well, I tried to, but it went nowhere. They're just like, oh, well, because, who you talk to? This is, back then, maybe this was 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how it is today. But back then,
they
didn't know. Yeah, they didn't know nothing. They was like, that's the guy who did it. I'm like, well, you want me to go over there and beat him up? What do you want me to do?
It's still difficult.
It was some guy in West Virginia that was trying to make a competing website and said, hey, dude, I'm going to pay someone to hack. And they narrowed it down to him, and then that was it. It was like Finding Waldo. He did it. So, but my whole thing is if I had a storefront and that guy came in and trashed the place,
he'd be in jail.
Serving time in prison.
Sure.
So I don't understand, and the worst part is the way the myth is. I don't know if there's any truth to this, but I'm almost positive there is. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that would make sense. To get a job at an antivirus thing, the best thing you could do is create a virus. That's like your resume. And to me, it just seems fucking dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, one guy got caught. I know for a fact that one guy got caught. I don't know if he's working there. He probably is. And he said, who's the big Norton antivirus? And his quote was, oh, this is my resume for Norton antivirus. I just want to show that what I could do. And I'm just like, dude, that's not cool. And I just don't know. Maybe I'm older. Maybe I'm not, But, by the time you figure out hacking and getting all that shit, you could have just made your site better. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. To me, I thought the internet was peaceful. Everyone works together, but it's become kind of ugly. And I don't know. I just wish it wasn't that way. You know what I'm saying?
Ugly. We're pretty.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure
we're pretty ugly.
And I guess it depends on what your thing is. Because like me, if you own something that's copywritten and you're like, oh no, don't give it away, we probably we seem ugly because we're like, yeah, sure, if I can have everything we've ever done or own, and here you go, and we're gonna take your stuff, and what, I'm sure if you're fucking a movie guy, but even if not, like if I made a movie, someone stole it, who gives a shit? Maybe that's why we're about
life has changed, and I think it's all about promotion. People buy what they like. So, we can make a gazillion of these shows, and if people don't like it, they're not going to watch it. They watch and buy what they like. So, if you got the product, and we learned this with TV and Video Guide, if you got the product, people will buy it. People will watch it. But how did people get to know about it? So, Adobe with Photoshop had a whole business plan around letting people steal it. So that, back in the day when Adobe first came out, nobody knew about it. It was like the best friggin' program on the planet for Photoshopping.
What they do.
It's, but nobody knew about it. So people stole it, and that's how they got the word out. So, that worked for them, and now they're one of the biggest companies in the world. And
Big country, they just made their own country.
They're a country. They're bigger than a country. They're bigger than most countries. They got more money than most countries.
They just took,
Yeah.
They probably have a lot more money than Canada.
Absolutely.
But for Canadian
so
ancestors.
we have burned through our time already. Day 28 is over.